Okay, so Salamangreat versus Thunder Dragon, age-old matchup. We saw that Thunder Dragon was the preferred deck for the points qualifier on the Friday.
Yes.
But we've seen that Salamangreat really just did so well today. We had 3 Salamangreats remaining in the top 8 and only 1 Thunder Dragon. So clearly the conversion was going in Salamangreat's favor. We will have to see how the players are going to be able to manage this round. Again, Salamangreat really needs to go first in this matchup because Thunder Dragon is able to set up such a strong board turn 1. Luckily for Gabriel, he is able to go first. He is looking to meet Samir in the finals if he can, so that they can have an all-French finals. Of course, Jake Quincy from the UK is battling Samir to try and stop that happening, and Herman here is trying to stop Gabriel. So we will have to see how this progresses. Having Circle to search Gazelle, or to search the Salamangreat foul, which he means he will definitely be able to end on an Abyss Dweller here, which is really great in this matchup.
And he also has a Ghost Ogre in hand, which is going to potentially stop the first LP he tries to summon, potentially get in the way of anything he wants to establish on the board. So he's going to end up with a solid amount of disruption, a really, really good feel. This is exactly where Salamangreat wants to be in this kind of matchup.
For sure. Gabriel definitely has a strong start here. Looking at Herman's hand, he has his one of Gold Sarcophagus, which is always nice to see. Definitely was one of the most powerful cards in Thunder Dragon back when it came out in Soul Fusion. And Herman's build is quite interesting. He's on a 45 card build playing the Draconet engine, which generally means we can expect to see some extra shenanigans going on with Ib, the World's Chalice Justicar, a fan favorite card. People say this reminds them a lot of Denlong, of the Yangtze.
Because you can kind of search for War Legacy of Sorrow, you can search for the Heritage.
Yeah, exactly.
It's so good. So you have an option of getting a free monster you're born or getting a free counter trap. It's best of both worlds.
And we also have World Legacy Guard Dragon here, which can help with Guard Dragon plays. However, this board from Gabriel is looking very impressive. He has his 2 level 4s, he gets a Circle to hand, he gets a Gazelle to hand, he has an Impermanence and a Ghost Ogre backing up the Abyss Dweller. This is where he wants to be. Game 1. An excellent start for the French duelist.
That is exactly right, but I wouldn't count all our eggs yet. Depends on what Herman's going to be drawing for his turn and off of Gold Soccer.
Yeah, so Herman draws Danger Tsuchinoko, which is unfortunate because he already has a copy of it in his hand, increasing the likelihood that one hits the other. He will be able to Allure of Darkness, however, which will let him banish one of the Tsuchinokos if he wants. So we see Abyss Dweller coming down.
That is going to be a bit bothersome versus this deck that wants to get there.
Picking up the Draconet could be quite good here. Realistically, you can just Abyss Dweller at any point in this matchup. Like, I don't think you need to hold it for the first action, because if somehow Herman was playing Kaijus, then the Abyss Dweller would have just been tributed over and wouldn't have gotten to activate.
Exactly.
So definitely consider the timings for your activations. We see a Thunder Dragon Dark being special summoned from the deck, but it will not be able to gain its effect, which is less than ideal.
Yes. But then what? I wouldn't like to say that this is more or less over. Oh, he drew Eclipse Wyvern off of the Allure. That is not something you really want to have in your hand right now.
No. All of these graveyard effects are not going to help him. Hitting the Black Dragon Clap Serpent is very relevant. The use of extenders, which is cards that allow you to summon them for free, is really strong and important for the Thunder Dragon deck. There's another Danger Tsuchinoko in hand, which will be able to attempt to summon, but if it is to roll and hit itself, then it will not be able to summon from graveyard because of the Abyss Dweller.
Oh, so he is going for the Phoenix play. Yeah. It's going to be discarding card out of his hand, more likely the Wyvern.
Yeah, so he'll discard the Eclipse Wyvern here because it does not do anything. It is sad that it won't be able to activate. Gabriel is most likely going to either use the Rage or the Impermanence. He says Rage is good, get that Phoenix off the field. And now he still has an impermanence to back up anything else he wants to do. Draconet down as the normal summon. Definitely a strong one, but unfortunately the Ib is likely to meet an impermanence, which the impermanence is just coming down here, even better. I mean, you have a Draconet on your board, you can attempt to summon a Tsuchinoko, and you also have a Gold Sarcophagus. Still a lot of play left here in the Thunder Dragon hand, and this is why the deck is so strong, because it can keep going and going and going, even through the interaction from the Salamangreat player. We've seen an Impermanence, a Counter Trap, and an Abyss Dweller all go off, but there's still a Ghost Ogre hanging out in Gabriel's hand.
So this is nowhere near to say that it's over, but it's going to be an uphill battle for sure.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, this is part of the fun of playing a large combo deck like Thunder Dragon. You have the kind of smaller combo decks in the format, such as Orcust and Salamangreat to an extent as well. Whereas Thunder Dragon, all of your cards do something, with the exception of the vanilla Thunder Dragon itself and one or two others. So we see here, Thunder Dragon Hawk is able to summon back Thunder Dragon Roar. Salamangreat Circle is being activated in response to the summon. Herman is going to grab Salamangreat Falco by the looks of it.
Falco. So, I mean, I guess to set up for next turn, since he already has Gazelle, so then he has a Link 1 target.
Yeah, he's still in quite a happy board position here. Tsuchinoko activates. It hits the Called by the Grave. That is a very skillful Tsuchinoko that Herman has. He draws the White Dragon Wyvern Buster. This is quite nice. He has four monsters. If he wants, he will be able to go into a Saryuja. However, he is instead going to link to, we are probably going to see a Beat Cop come down, or else, no, he can't summon Hieratic Sphere, so he is going to summon Beat Cop of the Underworld. He will be able to summon White Dragon Wyvern Buster. He will be able to gain access to Guard Dragon Elfie. He will then also be able to summon a Triple Burst Dragon and try to establish a board to contest his opponent, but...
Oh, there is unfortunately an Ogre in his hand to meet.
There is an Ogre for the Pitsy, and as we can see here, he can actually use the zone of the Sunlight Wolf.
Which is really relevant in this sort of situation, since it keeps you from committing any extra resources that you might actually have to...
Yep, it is not bad. We see the Ogre come down. That is game one.
Yeah,
Herman says, can't do better than that. He played his best. He went through every motion, tried to find a weakness in Gabriel's turn one hand, but Gabriel just had everything. And this must feel great for the French duelist.
This is a breath of fresh air right now, because he is like, okay, I have game one. It's now just game two. Can I do it? Can I make it? Like, all those type of thoughts are just going into his head right now.
Exactly. So we are going into the deciding portion of the match. We have a lot of very passionate French fans on the stream, showing their pride in Gabriel. But Herman is not alone either. He has a lot of people supporting him here.
So he is none. He's not missing any support right now. He's ready and good to go. So then in our side decks, we are currently playing in Gabriel's list. We kind of discussed this a bit earlier before. 2 Effect Veiler, 2, let's see, 3 Lancias. That's actually pretty good in this matchup. I think Thunder Dragon can kind of play through that a bit in comparison to other decks or the other variants of the decks, especially like this one, which is more Guard Dragon.
I mean, this is the most exciting Thunder Dragon list I have seen all weekend.
Exactly.
And we've seen a lot of Thunder Dragon lists.
Let's see, we have one Para, which is really good in time if you want to go that direction. Let's see, we have one Phantasme, I think.
Yep, that is a Phantasme. I don't know if... I mean, if you're expecting to go second here, you will bring in the Phantasme because you want to have the extra body. You want to be able to draw your pieces of interaction.
Exactly, and you only need to play one copy of it because there's a cool interaction with Eclipse Wyvern. If you banish with, one of the busters, you can add it to hand, and it can have a bit of a disruption in your opponent's turn, cycle your hand a bit, which is really good. Super poly. which is good against the Violet Chimera, 3 Twin Twisters, and 1 Imperial Order.
Yeah, Imperial Order could come in here, but again, you're expecting to go second as the Salamangreat player. Herman, as the Thunder Dragon player, I would not expect him to side in much because he is playing a combo deck. Somebody in the chat was asking, where's Marcello? Well, I saw a flash of fire in his eyes as he realized that there were not any Italian players qualified for Worlds, so I think he is already preparing for next season. He will be back, most likely, for the finals with myself. But in the meantime, we are getting ready for Game 2. I'm excited to see where this goes. This Thunder Dragon build is crazy cool. Again, I mean, Ib World Chalice, Justicar, very exciting card. Very popular with a lot of players. And we're going to see if it can do anything here, or if Gabriel will be able to find ways to interact with it. For now, though, we're going to come back to us for a moment while we discuss the standings and what is happening here in the top 4 of the European Championships.
So right now we have a lot going on right now. You know, Worlds.
2 whole games. We have 2 whole games.
2 games. You're being crowned, you're a champion, and you're going to Worlds anyway. So it's like, oh man, I really just want the bigger trophy. You know, you want the prize. Your eye is on the prize.
Hey, look, to be European champion is to be remembered in the game forever, especially if you are playing a unique deck.
Yeah.
Or, you know, players from France. We have Samir, who is trying to be a 2-time European champion, something that we have not seen before. He came and he won the European Championships in Berlin in 2016. He is back in top 4 versus Jake Quincy from the UK. France versus England, fighting to be the European champion. Meanwhile, on this side of the bracket, we have Sweden versus France. 2 French players in the top 4. Crazy. If you said 2 Germans at the start of the weekend, I would be like, that's expected.
Yeah.
But the French have really shown that they are taking Yu-Gi-Oh! Seriously. They had the largest nationals this year. They have the most players going from the main event of the European Championship to the World Championship. And I mean, what more could you want as a community?
Of course not. Your representation, you going to your locals, you're putting in time, you're putting in the hours, you try to hit peak performance time after time, regionals, nationals, YCSs, and then European Championship. Like, what more would you even want?
And I think the French story is very interesting. So I started out as a judge at these events, and I speak a little bit of French, and we didn't have many French judges. So I've actually seen over the past few years, as we've slowly gotten more and more French speakers, because you start getting more and more French translation calls.
Yeah.
So it's interesting to see how there has been like slow growth over the past few years. And then in the past year, it's just exploded. And it is really great to see that the region is doing so well. And I really hope that we see Germany and the UK and Italy, the other big regions, following that trend as well as everywhere else. It is a great time to be a Yu-Gi-Oh! Player, and an even better time to be aiming to be the European champion.
Oh, this is so crazy. You could, exactly what you said, representation of your community, supports, all those things that just makes it so great to be in Yu-Gi-Oh! Right now. Record-breaking attendance, record-breaking players, turnouts, so good. And that's because of all of you guys showing up, being here.
I mean, I think a lot of our chat are US players, so if you're from North America, welcome to the stream. Hope you're enjoying it. You should always come over and visit. I went over to Niagara Falls last year for the YCS over there.
Like?
It was really nice. But European events are often bigger, so, you know, I'm just saying, we're pretty cool guys. Once you get to Europe, it's so easy to travel as well, which is really lovely. Yeah, I mean, at the start of this weekend, a lot of players were saying that Thunder Dragon was going to be the deck of this event. And we've seen that the format has denied that. We have 1 Thunder Dragon, 2 Salamangreats, and 1 Orcust.
That is one of the outliers I actually want to talk about, because Orcust has sort of been petering on the edge of like, is it good enough? Is it consistent enough?
I mean, so Orcust has been incredibly represented, and it definitely has not had the conversions which it should have for how represented it was,
Yeah.
which is kind of interesting. But it clearly is still such a strong deck. We saw in the last round, Jake Quincy was able to defeat Adrian Durson in an incredibly close match. Adrian playing Sky Striker, which for the longest time is a deck that people said was so powerful and, you know, was warping the format, but it's not the case here. Like, Adrian was on the back foot a lot of the time, and his only hope, Mystic Mine, was not able to do enough.
Yeah, I think because Mystic Mind has been putting a lot of the weight for a lot of the current Control S decks or sort of, you know, tempo-oriented decks in the format, it sort of made it susceptible to having worse hands in comparison to pure combo decks that just kind of, I need just 2 cards and I'm good to go.
I mean, that's the strength of Thunder Dragons, right?
Yeah.
It's like you open a danger plus a monster,
Yeah.
and if you have either of the baby dragons, the White Dragon Wyver Buster or the Black Dragon Collapse Serpent, you're able to just go crazy, and you're just like, guard dragons everywhere, whee! Which is really strong. Like,
Yeah,
you are
exactly.
putting a lot of power onto the board, and Striker has more issues where if you don't see your Ray, you really struggle, and I believe that's an issue that we saw for Adrian in his Worlds playoff match on the Friday, where goes into game 3. He is starting. He just needs Kaina and any striker spell, and he wins the match.
Yeah.
And he doesn't draw right, and he draws no area zeros, and he draws no way to get to it. And so we're in a weird position where I think Salamangreat is quite well positioned because, sure, you don't always draw Gazelle.
No,
But you have
not.
other monsters.
Yeah.
And they're not as good as Gazelle.
But they're good enough to get you there.
Yeah, they can often get you there. And there's a lot of toolbox to the deck. So while Thunder Dragon just brute forces everything and front loads all of its power, Salamangreat is able to play over multiple turns. And it means that Salamangreat is less prone to interaction from hand traps.
Yeah.
You know, if you see something like a Droll Knockbird against Thunder Dragon really struggles because, you know, it's so much weaker when it doesn't get to set up a board. Whereas if we see Salamangreat being hit by a hand trap, they are able to, you know, they are able to just come back on the next turn and just continue where they left off effectively.
Yeah, exactly.
We have been informed that there was a marked cards minor giving a warning. The players are now ready to continue playing. So let's go back. Game 2, Thunder Dragon versus Salamangreat, Sweden versus France. Let's go. Great minds think alike, you know. So we are going to assume that Herman is going first here. The crowd are getting excited. It sounds like Samir is after winning his match versus Jake Quincy, which means we have one French player locked in for the finals. We have the potential for a 2-time European champion. That is crazy.
And also representing France. So that's even doubly so.
Exactly. And Salamangreat, like I was saying, super consistent deck. One of the decks in the finals. Is it going to be Salamangreat Mirror or Salamangreat versus Thunder Dragon? We see
There's
Thunder
a Lancia
Dragon
in his hand.
being discarded by Herman. Lancia comes down.
Oh.
This could be backbreaking. Looking at Herman's hand, he has the Jackalope, he has 2 Thunder Dragons and a Destrudo. He still has plenty of plays, but that Black Dragon Clap Serpent is now shut down.
Yeah.
The Galaxy Serpent, not the ideal card to have in your hand.
no.
Would much prefer the Draconet, but we'll have to see what he can manage going forward.
Oh, I hope that this is enough to get him here. We'll see.
He should still be able to establish a board, but he is definitely not where he wants to be. Galaxy Serpent plus Jackalope will let him summon a Ib World Chalice Justicar if he needs. Here comes the dice roll. It's a 5, and Black Dragon Clap Serpent is out of his hand. He doesn't care. The card
that's
is
probably
not live
the
here.
best target for you right now.
Artifact Lancia, such an impactful card in this format. He picks up a Thunder Dragon Dark here, which is not a bad pickup. If he can end on some Colossuses, he might be able to make Gabriel's life difficult.
Oh.
Gabriel is sitting on a hand of a lot of Salamangreat cards. He has the circle to get Gazelle, but that can be shut down by Colossus.
Yep. So we are reading the effect of Ib there for a second for a lot of people who don't know what it
Bring
does.
Ib up on the screen so you guys can see. This is the final chapter of the World Chalice storyline that started all the way back in Code of the Duelist. Awesome art, awesome card. We'll have to see if it works out for Herman here.
Oh, this is going to be so interesting. So he's going to use Destruda's effect targeting the Ib, since you can target a level 5 or lower, and special summon itself and reduce its level by the monster that's targeting.
Yeah, and Destrudo, another one of these awesome cards, which is just really great, versatile, makes so many different decks viable. We see the World Legacy Guard Dragon come down. He can special summon a level 4 or lower dragon monster from his graveyard, gets back to Draconet. He will be able to start establishing his Beat Cup and make some Guard Dragon plays, particularly helped out by the World Chalice Guard Dragon that he's after summoning.
So
I didn't know he was playing this.
So it seems even the Lancia coming down still give him... So this is probably with having Lancia in mind. It just gives you the extra reach that you'll need. So probably the hand that we see him open was probably the best of a worst case scenario, more or less.
I mean, so it's a case that Lancia is not as impactful versus the Thunder Dragon decks as it is versus something like Orcus.
Yeah.
As we can see, the Guard Dragons are still going to get to do what they want to be doing. Elfie is activating, letting Herman summon from his deck. He is going to be grabbing another Destrudo. This one is a level 7. He is going to link Tree, potentially summoning a triple burst dragon, because he has to summon dragons while he controls these Guard Dragons. Pitsy is going to activate, bringing back the World Chalice Guard Dragon. Are we going to see a 4 going into Agripane? Agripane will allow him to summon Hot Red Dragon Archfiend if he wants, which he chooses to do. Hot Red Dragon being super impactful, linking 2 away.
Interesting decision. Is he going to take the 3rd?
He's considering on whether or not he wants to link the Elfie. Here comes the Hieratic Seal of 7 Spheres.
Huh. Would you have gone for Sayuja there? Just to get a Colossus out?
I think the Hot Red Dragon potentially offers more value to him here. He's after drawing Gazelle, activates the circle. This is not what you want to be negating with the Hot Red Dragon Archfiend, but you just have to hope that Gabriel does not have the cards. He has everything in hand. He has not only got the Gazelle and the Spinny and the Jaguar, but he also has Will of Salamangreat, allowing him to extend. He will be able to push a lot of damage here. The Hieratic Seal activates, returning the Jaguar to the hand, letting Herman special summon from his deck, but it is unlikely to be enough. Gabriel is looking to break this board here. Brotor comes down, is going to target Elfie, discarding a card from his hand. There goes Thunder Dragon Dark, setting up that it can be banished on a following turn, if there is one. Chaos Dragon Levianer, an all-star for this deck.
So
but
next
is
turn,
it too late?
It really depends on if he'll be able to special summon with Will out of his hand now. He needs to activate a Will, special summon a Jaguar, and to be able to come off with it.
Yep.
He'll still be able to make let's see. I think he'll still be able to make a Stalio, I think. Like, it doesn't really change too much of the potential plays he'll be able to go into.
Yeah. Now, Gabriel is playing something that we have not seen much of at this event, which is Fusion of Fire, which gives him a much higher ceiling from this deck. The crowd are waiting. We see him considering sending the Fusion of Fire.
Oh, boy.
I mean, it's between the Fusion of Fire and the Drone Lockbird, which is also at the bottom, so probably choosing the Fusion of Fire. The crowd are pretty happy about this. We get a little bit of clapping. Spinny goes down. He is going to increase the attack of Gazelle, but more importantly, get himself in the graveyard so he can special summon. We are expecting to see a Mirage Stalio here. Summon from deck. Grab another 4. He will be able to do a lot this turn.
I think he can actually...
He can grab the Falco, because when the Falco leaves the field, it will set the Fusion of Fire to his field.
And I think that is the game, isn't it?
It's getting pretty close to it.
I think that might actually be the game.
Salamangreat, Violet Chimera is a very powerful card. It is looking like we may have 2 French duelists in the finals of this European Championship, both playing Salamangreat. Herman is not looking happy here. He is shuffling his hand. He does not have responses. He is just hoping against hope that Gabriel slips up, misses the game, and gives him a chance to take game 2. Gabriel is considering what he wants to do. He is going to link away, summon another Balinx.
To give himself a target for his Heatleo.
Exactly. Here comes the Salamangreat Heatleo, the all-star damage dealer of the deck. Salamangreat Sanctuary comes down, going into a second Heatleo. The crowd is wild. Targeting Elfie. He is going to set its attack to the attack of the Salamangreat Balinx. Fusion of Fire comes down. Heatleo and Mirage Stalio going into the Violet Chimera. This is tons of damage on the... And Herman offers the handshake. Gabriel is going through to the finals. We have 2 French duelists duking it out to be the European champion. This is absolutely insane. The crowd is wild. The French players are all to the left of the camera. You can't see them, but trust me, they are so happy. They are chanting and singing and dancing. This is the French European Championship. We will go back to us for the post-match analysis. And we are back just as we changed. You could see the French troupe arriving with their Gabriel sign. They are overjoyed. They are so proud of their player, and he has done such a good job. He is on Salamangreat. He made the right call. He managed to 2-0 Thunder Dragon, which is a matchup which we have seen this weekend. Players say, hey, look, Thunder Dragon versus Salamangreat. That's an easy 2-0. Didn't really work out. Yeah. But both him and Samir are ready to really show us what French Yu-Gi-Oh! Is capable of.
And it comes down to a Salamangreat mirror even.
Exactly. Madness.
So, you know, okay, I will admit I was wrong. It actually turned out to be a Salamangreat.
Yeah,
okay.
I mean, Herman played the best he could, and Thunder Dragon was such a solid choice going into this event.
So explosive.
But the problem with combo decks is when it goes wrong, it goes very wrong. And when he got hit by that Lancia, he lost a lot of his ability to play, and he just could not build that board, which would allow him to shut down Gabriel's Salamangreats.
And it's not like he couldn't have tried. It's just he just couldn't.
I mean, he tried his best. He tried really hard. He built the board, and it just wasn't enough.
Yeah.
We are almost at the end of the largest European Championship ever. We are going to hand you over to Oliver and Gabriel. The French players are so excited to hear what they have to say.
Yeah, here we are in the center of the fray. T-shirts have flown on stage. The French duelists are absolutely going crazy. Congratulations, you're now in the finals. I said before, it should be the most relaxed match. How are you feeling right now? Are you feeling relaxed, or are you still excited about the finals?
Now it's completely different because I'm playing against one of my friends, which is Samir Bashar. He already won a European Championship, so he knows how to handle the stress and all of this. I just hope it was going to be a good final for everyone at home and here, and that's it.
Yeah. So I've only always had one French player in the feature match. Now I'm going to have 2 at the same time. who are these guys be rooting for? Are they rooting for Samir or are they going to be rooting for you?
I don't know. I know some of them which are going to be for me, but I know that Samir has some good friends here as well. I hope they will be for both.
All right. Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. So you're going to get a very short break, I'm afraid, but that's part of what happens when you win all of these matches. And then we're going to see you back on the main event stage. Thank you very much. See you in just a second. Guys, don't go anywhere. As we just said, we're going to be right back. And then it's time for the finals of the largest ever European Championship.